Hi everyone, welcome to Ra's English Ramble. I'm Ra and I'm the host of this podcast. How are you doing today? I'm good, I'm not too bad. Still in lockdown in England, so I'm working from home, but it's the weekend, so I'm super happy. The days here have been very cold. As I'm sure a lot of you know, England is known for its cold weather. So when I wake up, it is either grey, raining, or foggy outside. More recently, we have had a lot of ice as well, so the nights have been pretty cold. Anywho, today I will be doing another interview. This interview is actually quite unique because of the person who I'm interviewing. So I hope you guys will listen, and I hope you guys have fun listening to us today. So, stranger, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Hello, my name is Yusuf Daoudi. I am from America, United States. Specifically, I am in California. It is nice to meet you all.
Perfect. Thank you, Yusuf. How are you doing today? What's the weather like over where you are in sunny California?
I started laughing when you said that it was gray because outside right now we are having a thunderstorm.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's great. It's very cold,
Uh-huh.
especially so in California, we consider cold around 75 degrees Celsius, which you would understand as 23 degrees.
Wow. You
So we
consider that
consider
cold?
that cold.
No way.
So right now I am wearing a lot of layers
Hmm.
and comfortable socks because my room is a nice 68 degrees, which you would know as, I believe, 20.
Okay. That is warm and toasty for me as a British person. That is very hot.
In California, this is very cold.
Wow. How cold does it actually get over there in California?
It gets, so on average,
Uh-huh.
it's not too cold. Again, the coldest I've ever seen was around 4 centigrade,
Okay.
but on average, it's like a cold day would be considered around 18.
Okay. Damn. 18 for us is like average over here. It's really kind of interesting,
Mhm.
like seeing the differences between obviously a hot place like where you live in
Mhm.
California to a cold area like England. Yeah, it is really interesting. And obviously over there, you guys have the beach,
Mhm.
so it's quite easy to cool down, I imagine.
Yeah, it's very easy to cool down. A lot of people, what they do
Hmm.
is they go to the mountains
Okay.
because California does have mountains, which tend to be a nice, crispy um, weather, which a lot of people do that as well. But there are multiple ways to stay cool here, which is nice.
Yeah, nice. Would you go outside in the blazing heat? Would you go to the beach? Would you climb a mountain? What would you do on a normal summer's day if it's very hot outside? Would you stay in?
I tend to stay in.
Hmm.
I tend not to do anything, especially when it's very hot. You have no energy.
Yeah.
It just takes everything out of you.
Yeah.
So I just tend to lie down under the air condition and I will put my video games or my computer in the same position
Uh-huh.
and just try and wait it out. Once in a while, I'll like go out,
Yeah.
but it's probably to an indoor place that has
Mm.
a lot of air conditioning.
Interesting. One thing that I find is, especially during the summers in England, when I'm in my room and my PC's on and I'm gaming, my room gets so hot. But I guess for you guys, it's not too bad because you've got air conditioning over there.
Is air conditioning not common in England?
We don't have air conditioning in our homes. We have central heating.
Oh, how do you survive without air condition?
It's tough. But in England, we get about 2 weeks worth of summer, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, we get around 2 weeks of winter.
So yeah, polar opposites.
Hmm.
Cool. Okay, interesting. So what do you do for a living then, Yusuf?
I am a professor.
Uh-huh.
I teach chemistry in different colleges. So that's what I do.
Okay. Do you enjoy teaching?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Teaching is nice,
Uh-huh.
but I don't like dumb people,
Okay.
which is very ironic because as a teacher, it is your job to make sure that your students understand.
Exactly.
So what happens is if they don't understand, I get upset
Mm,
at them for not understanding, and then I get upset at myself for not being a good teacher.
yeah.
So it is I was going to say perpetual cycle of sadness.
You can say that.
Okay, it is a
Yeah.
perpetual cycle of sadness.
Yeah. I mean, I guess an easier way to explain that is just it is a never ending cycle of sadness. Like it's
Yes,
just a full circle, right?
yes. So that's the parts I don't like. But the parts that I like is I love my students,
Uh-huh.
the ones that understand. I love interacting with them
Yeah.
and getting to know them. Funny enough,
Hmm.
my favorite students are the ones that are failing because they tend to be the funniest
Okay.
and the most excitable. As in they just show up to
Yeah.
have a good time rather than taking it seriously,
Yeah.
which is good and bad at the same time. It's good for me because I get entertainment, and
Uh-huh.
it's bad for them because they are failing.
Yeah. And I guess for you, if you get a student like that, it kind of makes your life easier,
Hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I guess you get both sides of teaching. Like you get the good sides and the bad sides. Obviously, I was also a teacher in Japan,
Hmm.
but I didn't really have any negative things to say about it. I just really enjoyed teaching, but maybe that's because I was in Japan and I love Japan.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was super super good.
Or
But
also because you're a good person and I am not.
possibly yes, I am a very nice guy. So perfect. Thank you for introducing yourself, Yusuf.
No
Um,
problem.
so the reason why I've got you on this podcast is because I think me and you have a very unique story to tell.
Yeah.
Um, it isn't like a normal story, but it's somewhat different.
Hmm.
I'm going to ask by asking you a few questions about Japan, and then we can go into how we kind of met.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect. So, yes, obviously, I have got you on this podcast because you've been to Japan. What were your thoughts of Japan before going there?
So my entire life, I was a fan of anime, manga, and Japanese culture.
Uh-huh.
I was a otaku, basically.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to go to Japan. But the thing is, I never found anyone, especially in my friend group, that wanted to travel with me. Like, no one in my family was interested, and most of my friends were not.
Right.
So when it came to Japan, I always thought of it as, well, it depends. I knew certain parts of Japan were very traditional, certain parts were very modern. I knew that anime was an accepted thing, but it wasn't the only thing that they have in Japan. I
Yeah.
knew Japan had a very deep culture and history, and the people there were extremely nice, and it was, I believe, the seventh safest country in the world.
Yeah.
So because of all of that, I was fascinated to go to Japan, not only because I was an otaku, but because I really wanted to know what Japan was actually like
Yeah.
outside of what you hear in anime and in the news.
Yeah. Correct. I think with a lot of people who watch anime who are really into the culture, I think they have this kind of one-sided image of Japan that they get from anime, which isn't really true. You
Mhm.
have to go to Japan to actually experience Japanese culture. So,
Absolutely, 100%.
so from what it sounds like, you traveled alone.
I did travel alone. So originally, I was supposed to go with a friend,
Uh-huh.
but he had an emergency and he had to cancel.
Right.
So I was like, well, you know what? I'm still going to go. So I ended up traveling alone. It was my first time ever going to Japan, and it was also my first time ever traveling alone.
Right. So that must have been quite daunting.
I was terrified. I
Yeah.
remember being awake at home at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
shaking, waiting for the shuttle to take me to the airport because
Yeah.
I was so scared of just going alone to a country I know nothing about, nor the language.
Which is normal, I think. Traveling alone is a very big jump. I think it takes a lot of guts, especially when you're going to a place that you've never been to before. It's completely new to you. And traveling alone, it does sound quite scary.
You know what? It was scary until I got to my destination. Until I got to Japan, when
Uh-huh.
the airplane landed, for
Yeah.
some reason I had so much confidence because I was like, you know what? I am here. There is no way out. I'm doing this.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Put your 100% into it.
Because there is no turning back. So you're forced to accept it right then and there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, wow. So you traveled to Japan alone. It was your first time. When you landed, how did you feel? Did you feel super happy that you were there? Did you feel that you wanted to do a lot of things when you landed? What were your first thoughts when you landed?
My first thoughts, so I landed in Kyoto,
Okay.
and I don't know if you know this, but when you land in Kyoto, the first thing you see is a giant picture of Mario, which
Right.
they call it Jumpman,
Okay.
that says "Welcome to Japan."
Nice.
I saw that and I was like, okay, I am in Japan. And I got very excited
Yeah.
in the sense that already I can tell this is a completely different atmosphere than I expected.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't know that Japan's economy is based off of tourism for the longest time.
Hmm.
So when I saw that they had so many things specifically for tourists, it made me very calm.
Yeah.
But also the fact that I had to get to my Airbnb or the apartment I was staying in. So after that thought, I got terrified because I was like, oh, trains.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know this, California does not have a public transportation system.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like England where you have the tube,
Yeah.
right? or in Japan where you have the subways, so I'm not used to taking subways
Right.
in a different language, in a different country.
Wow.
So I was scared, but everyone was so helpful and so nice.
Yeah. So from what you're telling me, Yusuf, this is a complete experience for you, like a super experience because of the public transport, being in a different country that speaks a different total language,
Mhm.
going to your apartment from the airport. So this must have been really big for you.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. And I don't think I could have done that, to be honest,
Mhm.
especially if I went there on my first time. I don't think I could have done what you did. So congrats on you for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect. Cool. So you went to Kyoto first. How
Mhm.
long were you in Kyoto for?
I was in Kyoto for 5 days.
Nice. What did you get up to there?
So much, and I cannot remember most of it or their names. I
Did you-
did. So the first day was extremely humid,
yeah,
and I'm not used to humidity. We don't have humidity in California.
sure.
So I remember I went to a convenience store or a 7-Eleven
Mhm.
to buy a water bottle, and they were handing out free fans
Okay,
for
nice.
an event that was happening. I still have that fan till today. It was the most useful thing I have gotten on that entire trip.
So now that you mentioned that fan, actually, I remember you having that fan when we met,
Yes,
actually. Yeah. So that brings back memories.
yes.
That- So that good old
Um,
fan.
so the first thing I did was I went to downtown Kyoto. This was
Mhm.
the day that I was there.
Okay.
Um, it was the first thing I did, and then I went back to my apartment. Then the next day I went to the Inari Shrine,
Okay, nice.
which no one told me it was an entire mountain.
Yeah, not a lot of people know that. They only see the red gates and
Yeah.
and then they and then they just assume it's just the red gates and it's not a massive uphill mountain.
So when I went and I was like, oh, stairs, it won't be that many. I
Mhm.
was proven so wrong so quickly.
Yeah,
I did, I believe, half of the mountain before I felt like I was dying.
the weather didn't help, right?
Absolutely not. But what was nice was I went at 6 o'clock in the morning
Okay.
because I had jet lag.
Yeah.
So I went before all of the crowds and all of the tourists came. So it was
Mm.
very nice and calming.
Yeah. I think like a place for that, you made the right choice. It attracts a lot of tourists.
Hmm.
So I think probably the best thing to do is go bright and early in the morning.
Yeah.
So you went there early. What time did you get back from that mountain climb down?
I was climbing down at around 10
Wow. You spent a long time there.
because at a certain point I was getting so tired
Yeah.
that I would walk for like 2 minutes and then sit for 5 minutes
Wow. That sounds
because
tough.
it was humid. I
Yeah.
was dehydrated. I was jet lagged. It was not fun. I didn't feel
Mhm.
healthy. It was beautiful. It was lovely,
Yeah.
but I was unhealthy.
Uh-huh.
So what I did was every day I would write down a summary of my experiences.
Nice.
So that because when you travel, you tend to forget a lot of the little things that happen.
Uh-huh.
So it's nice writing it down sometimes.
Yeah, I guess with holidays, it can be difficult sometimes to recall things, especially the small details, as you've just mentioned. This was on your second day that you did the climb, was it?
Yes.
Okay, second day. Wow. What's the flight? duration from California to Japan?
It was a 12-hour flight.
Ouch. Was that direct, or did you stop over anywhere?
I stopped in San Francisco, which is still in California.
Okay.
So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It was nerve-wracking,
Mm.
but it was also nice in the sense that I had all this time to process what was about to happen.
Exactly. What have I got myself into?
Mhm.
Do you remember what you did after going to Inari Shrine?
I am looking through. Oh, I went to Gion afterwards.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
I went to Gion just to walk around and see the geisha district,
Yeah.
I believe, which was nice because in the summer everyone was wearing yukatas,
Yeah.
and I never expected it, or I didn't expect it at all. So it was interesting just walking around. There was a palace there. I don't really remember which palace it was,
Uh-huh.
but it was actually very nice. I spent most of the day just walking for the first day because I was still trying to get used to the heat and the weather.
Okay. Yeah, I think when I went to Kyoto, Gion was a very beautiful place. It's very
Mhm.
easy to walk around, and as you said, you may have a chance to also see a geisha as well. Did you see one by any chance?
I did not because I believe I went like in at noon or the
Okay.
middle of the day,
Yeah.
and if I remember correctly, they tend to come out towards the afternoon
Yeah. Yeah.
or nighttime.
Yeah.
But I did go to the Starbucks that was there.
Yes, Kyoto's famous for that Starbucks, right?
It was the best Starbucks I ever went to in my life.
What was so good about it?
So Starbucks, at least here, are very industrial in the sense that they're trying to just serve people and they don't care about anything else.
Hmm.
The one in Kyoto felt unreal,
Sure.
if that makes any sense. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
There were gardens, there were seatings on the floor, even even the places that they worked seemed so traditional,
Sure.
and seeing the Starbucks logo on everything was just strange.
Yeah, that's one thing about Japan. Their Starbucks are very beautiful. They're very scenic.
Mhm.
Whereas, as you mentioned, in America and also in England, they are kind of very plain,
Yes.
and there isn't much to it. Yeah, I know the Kyoto one is very famous, obviously for its design. Do you remember what you had when you went to Starbucks? Like, did you have anything unique?
Water.
Just water?
Just water. Funny enough, I do not like matcha.
No?
No, I don't.
Why not?
It's very bitter. I
Okay,
only like sweet things.
sure. So you've got a sweet tooth.
Very much, yes.
Nice. Good. So Kyoto. Did you get up to anything else while you were over there in Kyoto?
So in general in Kyoto,
Mhm.
I did go to the Monkey Mountain.
Okay.
So I fed monkeys. One day I did go to Osaka and I went to Universal Studios Japan.
Nice.
I went to the bamboo forest.
Yeah.
I went to, I believe it was a castle that turned into a temple that's covered in gold.
Yes. That's in North Kyoto, I believe. Yeah.
Yes. Um, I made my own ramen in a ramen factory,
Nice.
and I went to Don Quixote for the first time.
What was that like?
I walked in
Uh-huh.
and I immediately thought this is the most Japanese thing I have ever seen.
Why so?
It had everything.
Yeah.
We do not have stores like that here, where I can buy a PlayStation in the same place I can buy groceries.
Yeah. It is
It
pretty
was,
surreal.
it was very surreal. But that's basically what I did in Kyoto. I
Right.
went around, I saw castles,
Mhm.
shrines, ate a lot of street food in downtown.
Yeah.
And on the last day before I took the bullet train to Kyoto, I went to the manga museum
Okay. Yeah.
and I got myself a drawn as a anime character, which was nice.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
A lot of the things that you've told me, I haven't actually done. Kyoto, in my opinion, it's very beautiful. It has a lot of nice temples, a lot of nice shrines, and it has a lot of nice walks. I'm not sure if this was the same as you, Yusuf, but when I went to Kyoto, it was just bustling with tourists, just tourists everywhere. Was that the same for you when you went?
Actually, no. I didn't really see that many tourists,
Okay, interesting.
probably because of the times I was going out and also the days of the week.
Sure,
Because I tended to, especially if it was on a weekend, I tended to do more of the scenic type of things,
sure.
the less popular things, versus on the weekdays was when I would try and do the popular things
Gotcha. Okay.
to avoid the mass amounts of people.
Yeah. Smart move, that is.
Thank you. So, like when I went to USJ or
Uh-huh.
Universal Studios, I went on a Wednesday.
Gotcha. And it wasn't that busy, right?
No.
Perfect. Sounds good. So USJ is in Osaka, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Good stuff. Cool. Okay, so you spent 5 days in Kyoto. You went to Tokyo afterwards, did you?
Yes.
Yeah. And how many days were you in Tokyo?
I was there for 5 days as well. My trip was 10 days in total.
Perfect. Okay. And what were the things that you did in Tokyo?
Well, the first day I was even there, I got off of my bullet train and decided to go to a curry place in Akihabara,
Okay.
which is where I met you.
Yep. It is. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people know that I absolutely love Coco Ichi. I think I probably talk about it on every episode that I do on this podcast because it's so good. Yeah, I always go to the Coco Ichi in Akihabara to eat. I'm in there, and Yusuf has already ordered his food. Obviously, we don't know each other, but I've sat relatively close to him. I order my food, Yusuf is waiting for his food, and then this random guy, who is now Yusuf, starts to talk to me. And we start talking, we start to get to know each other. Our food comes, we eat it. I'm absolutely ecstatic because my stomach is full of goodness. And yeah, me and Yusuf just started talking. And from there, we became good friends.
Yeah, it was very quick.
Yeah. I mean, you did the talking because you spoke to me first.
Yes.
I didn't really expect anyone to speak to me while I was in there, but you spoke to me. Me being a nice guy, I responded nicely. And yeah, we ate our food. After we ate, I showed you around Akihabara
Mhm.
because I had no plans afterwards.
And I
Mm.
made you spend a lot of money gambling for
Yes,
a toy.
we won't talk about that, but so what happened was I was after this pink bunny. It's this mascot online that I really like. It's this pink rabbit, and I saw it in this crane grabber arcade, and I spent a lot of money there, which I am not proud of, and I never won it either. So it was
You never did?
nope. I think I went back there maybe once. We'll start again. And I just said, you know what? This is Yusuf's fault. I'm not going to try again.
Then when we go back to Japan, I will spend money getting it for you.
Thank you very much. I never got it in the end, so I was quite upset. But yeah, we walked around Akihabara for a bit afterwards. It was quite late at this point.
Yes.
I think it was around 8 p.m. But it was in the middle of summer, so it was super hot.
Mm-hmm.
It was very humid. I also gave you a cat toy that I won in a gacha for you. Do you remember that?
Yes, you did, and I still have it.
Perfect. Good stuff. So yeah, on that day, I gave Yusuf a gacha toy that I won. From that point onwards, that was where our friendship started. From that toy, that was when the friendship began.
Yeah.
It is quite surreal. So to make things short, I met Yusuf in Kokoichi and we became good friends. I think after that, Yusuf, you were in Tokyo for a couple more days, weren't you? Was it
Yeah,
4 days or 3 days?
I was there for 3 days, and then I had to leave the next day.
Yeah, that's right.
So
So
a total of around 4.5 days.
cool, perfect. So I know we met a few times after our Kokoichi encounter.
Yeah,
um,
randomly.
yeah. Do you want to talk about that? If you
Sure.
remember? Yeah.
So on a Friday, which was the next day, I decided to go to a Turkish mosque. And I was sitting as the mass was happening, and I believe I turn around because I felt as if someone was staring at me. I turn around and I see Ra,
Again, this guy.
the same person that hung out with me the day before.
You can't get rid of me.
No.
So yeah, we met again coincidentally, and we started talking again. I think we hung out a bit after that.
Yes, we grabbed lunch.
Yeah, and then we said we were going to eat dinner together, weren't we?
Yes.
So we went away, we showered and stuff. I met you in Asakusa in the late afternoon, didn't I?
Yes, we did. It was my first time there, actually. It was very nice.
Yeah, I think Asakusa, especially in the evenings, it is very calm and very tranquil.
Yes, very tranquil.
It's a very tranquil place. And yeah, we went to grab dinner. We had ramen.
Yes.
Do you remember that really spicy sauce, like that red, like lava sauce that was in
Yes.
the store?
I remember the forks.
Oh yeah, they were awesome.
They were so cool. I took photos of the fork.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of like a spork, was it?
It was a strange spork in the
Yeah,
sense that it was a spoon and then extra prongs instead
yeah,
of a normal spork, which is a spoon that has prongs inside of it.
yeah. That was somewhat unique as well. But the food was nice. The lava
Very
and
nice.
chili sauce was nice.
Yes.
And then I think we walked around Asakusa for a bit afterwards, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And it started to rain.
Yes, it did, which wasn't too good because it was humid and it was raining and it wasn't very nice. But yeah, we walked around after that. And I think that was probably my last time I saw you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And here we are today.
And here we are today. So yeah, after Asakusa, I said goodbye to Yusuf. Fortunately, I never saw him again.
Did you say fortunately?
I'm only joking.
I know.
So yeah, I said goodbye to Yusuf. He went back to America, and I continued with my Japanese life. But what's been a good thing is that me and Yusuf, we have kept in touch since I last saw him. So we always send, not always, but We do send messages on Instagram,
Yes.
but this is our first time speaking on voice chat, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I
So
have missed you.
yeah, so it is nice hearing your voice again because it's been since summer of 2019 since I last heard you.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. But yeah, Japan. I'm going to ask you a few more questions, Yusuf, about Japan.
Go ahead.
Now that we've cleared up how we met, did you experience any culture shock when you were in Japan?
It's weird. When you
Hmm.
say culture shock,
Yeah,
the first thing that comes to mind was how clean everything is in Japan.
right.
That shocked me the most in the sense that you're not supposed to like eat and walk, or trash is very, very important in Japan.
Yeah.
In the United States, trash is everywhere.
It is just a big litter.
Basically, yes.
Like one thing about Japan is that also they don't have many bins around, right?
No, they don't.
So what a lot of people do is they actually take their rubbish home with them,
Mhm.
which is probably why you don't see any litter or any rubbish. It is a very clean country, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, Japan is very much about the community,
Hmm.
and everyone takes part in the community, which shocked me because the United States is very much about the individual
Sure.
instead of the community. That
What,
shocked me the most.
what do you mean it being a community place?
In the sense that everyone has responsibility
Hmm.
to take care of Japan.
Yeah.
Versus in the United States, it is always someone else's job. Like, for example, the trash.
Yeah.
Everyone makes sure that the trash is in the correct bin because it is your responsibility as a citizen of Japan to make sure Japan is clean.
Exactly. Well,
Versus the United States, where, oh, it's not my job, that's why they hire a janitor.
yeah, that's a pretty interesting way of seeing it, actually. I've never kind of seen it in that way, but you are right. I've never really thought of that way, Yusuf, where kind of everyone has a role. I've always thought that it's been a clean country, but seeing it in your way, I do understand it. It is everyone's role to keep their country clean. Cool, interesting, yeah. Was there anything in particular you really liked about Japan?
The food.
Okay. Any food in particular that you really liked?
Can I be basic and just say sushi?
Uh-huh, you can.
The fish in Japan in general is so good.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And what's interesting, and I didn't know this, is in California, people like sushi. We think it's sushi.
Yeah.
Until you go to Japan and you eat actual sushi, it
Yeah.
is completely different.
It is, isn't it? The sushi in Japan is so fresh. You
Mhm.
feel like you are eating it right out from the ocean.
One of the places I went to was the fish market in Kyoto,
Okay.
and it was like 10 o'clock. No, it was 9 o'clock in the morning. It
Okay.
was very early, and I ordered a fish don
Sure.
because I wanted fresh fish.
Uh-huh.
The chef pulled out a live yellowtail, hit it over the head with a hammer,
Uh-huh.
cut it up, and served it to me.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Straight from the source.
It was alive, and then I ate it.
And that was probably within a matter of minutes, wasn't it? Or seconds, probably.
He worked so fast.
Yeah.
It was great.
And that's another good point, is because a lot of Japan's food is fresh. As you mentioned earlier, the sushi we get in our home countries, it's nothing like Japan. And I feel bad that we even call it sushi because it isn't sushi, especially in England where we only get salmon or prawn or cucumber. In Japan, you'll find that you get more fish and less rice,
Yes.
whereas here it's more rice and less fish.
Yes. And it is so expensive here. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's the same here, especially when you go to a restaurant in London. It is pretty pricey when you do go for sushi. Perfect. So you really like the fish over there, yeah?
Yes. As well as the street food.
Okay. Which one stood out to you most when you did try out the street food?
Taiyaki and takoyaki.
Okay, taiyaki, nice. Takoyaki, where did you have that? Was that in Osaka or Kyoto or?
It was in Osaka in Dotondori?
Dotonbori, yeah. Perfect.
Yes, Dotondori.
That's the best place to have takoyaki, I think.
It was so good.
It's nice, isn't it?
Oh my god. Like, it's hot. With
Yeah.
the hot weather, you
Yeah.
would expect I wouldn't like it, but no. I had seconds. I ordered it twice.
Wait. How many did you have in total? Do you remember?
4 times?
Wow.
Twice. So once in Kyoto,
Uh-huh.
twice in Osaka, and then once in Tokyo.
You were mad about takoyaki.
I was on vacation.
Why not?
Why not?
You are right. It's piping hot, isn't it?
Yes.
And you have to be careful, otherwise you'll burn the whole of your inside of your mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, takoyaki is nice. And the other one you said, sorry, Yusuf, was
Taiyaki.
takoyaki. Okay. What did you enjoy about that?
I've never had it before, and I've always seen it in anime. So I was like, might as well just try it.
Exactly. And speaking about anime, you didn't go to a maid cafe, did you?
No.
Good. Good.
No, I did not. We were talking about it,
Yes.
but I did not. No.
Yeah, I think with maid cafes, it is good to go once. It is a little odd, but going for that one-time experience, I think, is enough. I do agree with you. Japan's food is out of this world. And one thing, I'm not too sure if it's the same in America, but what I find in England is that when we do get dinner or we get lunch, the portion to price is quite small. So we pay quite a lot, but the portion is relatively small. Whereas in Japan, what you pay for, you get enough or you get more.
Oh, I would say no, that doesn't apply here.
Actually, yeah, you're right, actually. I'm not sure.
Don't forget, America is the land of the big.
Yeah, the land of McDonald's.
I don't eat McDonald's, but yeah, it is. What I did find in Japan was the quality of the food was so much better for the same price.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. The quality is amazing. And especially, and I think I was speaking about this with my friend in the last episode, that even if you go into a 7-Eleven, a Family Mart, even the quality of food in there is super good.
Yes.
There isn't really bad quality unless you probably go to something that's very bad on the corner or something. But relatively speaking, the quality is super good over there.
Yes. Because in the United States, if you go to a 7-Eleven, you will get sick from the food.
No way.
It is a guarantee you will get sick.
Oh, wow.
Versus in Japan, I had lunch there every day.
Yeah.
and it was amazing. I loved it.
I think it's relatively cheap as well, isn't it? Like the price.
So cheap.
What was the exchange rate like between dollar to yen?
1 to 100.
Okay, gotcha. That's not too bad, is it?
No.
So yeah, we've talked about your experiences in Japan, what you liked about it, the culture shock. Would you go again?
Absolutely 100%.
Would you go by yourself again, or would you take someone else?
So I enjoyed traveling alone.
Hmm.
It is nice traveling with other people,
Yeah,
but traveling alone, there is no need to compromise.
yeah.
You do whatever you want, whenever you want,
Uh-huh.
and it's you take everything at your own pace.
Yeah.
Versus when you travel with someone else, you're always worried whether or not they're having fun
Hmm.
and all the compromises that come with it.
Yeah. I guess a place like Japan, you want to take someone who has somewhat of an interest in Japan.
Yeah.
I think if you took someone who has never looked into the Japanese culture, who has never seen anything about it, it
Mhm.
might be quite difficult for them.
Yes.
But taking someone who knows about Japan, they actually have somewhat of an idea of what the country's like, then they will most likely have fun. But it is difficult. It is always on the back of your mind if they are having fun or not.
Yes. Absolutely.
Perfect. So you would go again. Um,
Yes.
you said that you wanted to go back to Japan again.
Yes.
Would you visit the same places or would you go somewhere different in Japan?
Both. Because I feel like 5 days isn't enough to
Mm,
see Tokyo or Kyoto.
yeah.
But there are so many other places now that I'm extremely interested in seeing.
Okay. Do you have any examples of the places?
I want to go to Nara. I want to go to Kobe. I
Mm,
want to go to, see, as an American, I don't really want to go to Hiroshima
mm,
and Nagasaki, but
yeah.
I kind of do.
Yeah.
So I want to go there as well. Also, more places in the north
Yeah.
as
Yeah. I think that's the same with me. I really want to visit the north. Yeah, Nara's a super good place. I've not been to Kobe, but they're relatively close, so I don't think it'll be too difficult to visiting both of them.
Also, it's funny, when you first think of Japan, you only think of Kyoto and Tokyo.
Exactly. You do.
Yeah, those are the only places you want to go to. But then after going to Japan, knowing that every part of Japan is so different,
Yeah.
that I want to see more of it.
Yeah. As you've said, a lot of people only think about Tokyo and Kyoto, but there is so much more to Japan. I was actually going to ask you as well, Yusuf, when you went to Japan, did you know any basics of the language? Like, did you know how to speak it? Or like, did you have no idea?
I knew Osusume wa,
Okay.
which is, I don't need to translate it.
Uh-huh.
I knew, I also learned how to read very basic katakana,
Okay.
and that's it.
That's it. Osusume wa and reading.
Yes, and also like arigato gozaimasu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And was that enough to go by? Do you think?
Yes, it was.
It was. Really?
Yeah, it really was. So I do have Google Translate on my phone.
Uh-huh.
I only used it once when I asked a very specific and technical question.
Okay.
Besides that, no, it was very foreigner friendly.
And Were you shocked about that?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. I think probably in Tokyo and Kyoto, it's quite easy to get by if you speak English quite slowly. I think a lot of people understand, but also knowing the basics also help. If you do go out, maybe outside of Tokyo and Kyoto,
Mhm.
there might be a bit more trouble there with the communication. But I think within the big cities, I don't think it's too much of a problem.
And I've noticed that even if there is no verbal communication,
Mhm.
there is always a way to communicate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hand gestures.
Mhm. Or Google Translate is really good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Also, Google Maps helped me so much when it came to the train system.
yeah.
So much.
Google Maps is a savior over there.
Yes. Best thing I've done.
I think that's all the questions I wanted to ask you, Yusuf.
No, I enjoy talking with you.
You've been super helpful, and your answers have been very interesting as well, especially from your point of view because it was your first time going there and you went alone.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that that has given some people of a confidence boost to travel alone because everyone can do it, right?
Funny enough, the only thing stopping you
Hmm.
from traveling alone is yourself.
Yeah.
That the worst possible thing that can happen if you travel alone is you getting bored, which won't happen because if you're traveling in a place like Japan, it is impossible to be bored.
Exactly. You won't get bored. Thank you for coming on anyway. I do appreciate it. Did you have any other questions for either me or do you want to say anything else about Japan or anything?
I just wanted to say thank you very much for having me on.
You're very welcome.
It's a nice hearing from you. And when it comes to Japan, I am 100% going back.
Yeah.
It felt like a dream when I was there because I was having so much fun and I liked it so much. And when I left and came back to America,
Mhm.
it felt like my dream was over.
Was the reason you had so much fun because I was there?
Absolutely, 100%.
I'm glad. It is a very unique circumstance how we met at Kokoichi and
Mhm.
then we met coincidentally the next day again
Yes.
without either of us knowing.
And
Um,
then we met a third time on Eid.
yeah, exactly. So we did spend time together after we met at Kokoichi.
Mhm.
We got to know each other better and we got along really well. I know that some people can be a bit iffy,
Mhm.
you know. I think a lot of the people who are in Japan are very friendly people, and even like the Japanese people, they're very friendly. If you ask them for help, then help is what you'll get.
You
Anything.
just reminded me of the time where I scared a girl so badly on the train.
Okay, wow. When?
So apparently,
Hmm.
on the train, it's not common for strangers to just start a conversation.
Right.
So I was sitting down, and this girl next to me was playing Fate Grand Order, which is a game that I play as well on my phone. So I got very excited because I don't know anyone that plays the game besides me.
Uh-huh.
So I turned to her very excitedly and I'm like, oh my god, you play Fate Grand Order? I play it too. And she jumps
Yeah.
out of her seat, not expecting it. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. And
Mm.
she just turns to me, looks me straight in the eye, and says, are you American? I was like, yes, that's why. Cause it's because I'm American.
You scared her. Why?
I,
Why would you do such a thing?
I got excited.
Oh man, that's actually that sounds quite funny on my side. I'm sure it wasn't funny for the girl. I'm sure she.
No, but probably other people were laughing.
Did you talk to her after you
No,
stayed?
not far away from me afterwards.
She moved away from you.
Yes.
Probably a good idea, to be honest.
Okay, come on. I'm a good person, I think.
Was this in Kyoto or was it in Tokyo?
No, it was in Tokyo. It was like,
Okay.
God, it was 9 o'clock at night, and I was going to Shibuya.
Uh-huh. So it was a late night,
Hmm.
and you were excited, and you scared a girl on the
Yes,
train in the
yes,
middle of the night.
yes.
No wonder why she got scared. Interesting. Perfect. Yeah, I think we had some pretty unique experiences there. So,
Mhm.
thank you for talking to me in Kokoichi. Thank you for
Thank
starting a conversation with me.
thank you for responding and hanging out with me afterward.
No problem at all. I think I've told you this, but after I met you, I had one other instance where someone started speaking to me in Kokoichi in Akihabara, and I still speak to them on Instagram as well. So I made two friends in Kokoichi. Who would
Yeah,
have
but
known?
who do you like better?
I do like you better, and I hope he isn't listening to this podcast. So, shh.
Well, if he is, I forced Raw to say that.
I'll give you the money later.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, Yusuf. I appreciate it.
Thank
Um,
you for having me.
what I might do is if I do have any future episodes and I'm talking about an interesting subject, I might bring you on again
I will happily be on. Just let me know.
and we can have another chat. So, perfect. Yeah, I appreciate your time and I hope we can talk again soon.
I hope so too.
So, thank you everyone for listening. It has been another long episode, but I think with these interview type episodes, I try to make them quite long because I want to ask the person a lot of questions. I want to get their view of Japan. So if you have made it this far, thank you. I will send you a sticker through the post. But that will be it for this week's episode. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Take care, stay safe, and speak to you guys soon. Bye.